Okay, so what you see on the screen here is one of these sample files from Clinton Jones, Punisher's new challenge called Boss Fight. So we're going to talk about that and why you want to do challenges. So let's get started. So there are two main reasons why you want to do challenges like this. The first one is to learn. You will learn a ton because generally any of these that I've done, I've learned quite a bit and how to push myself because I'm doing something I have not done before. The second big reason is when you're completed, if you do a good job, is you are going to not just learn a lot, but you're going to have an item for your show reel. You'll have something that you can put on your reel and show off your skills, show off what you've learned. So every time you do one of these, be it one of these, this is a big one because he typically gets thousands of entries. So basically, if your 3D abilities are not godlike, the odds are of winning anything are pretty slim. But that's, again, I don't even worry about it. I mean, he does come out and talk about all the prizes. He does team up with some excellent vendors, particularly Roku, and that's great. But if you're doing it for the prizes, you're no, that's not why you want to do it, because you got to assume you're not going to win any. Unless you're very experienced and so on, and if you are, you're probably not watching this. But again, the two biggies: learn a lot, have a piece for your show reel. So he is having some super prizes, and he's not the only one who does them. He also does weekly challenges, and any of this stuff will build your skills. So I strongly encourage people to do these challenges, regardless of whether there's a prize, no prize, whatever it is. The more of this stuff you can do, the more hands-on you get, the more you'll learn. The first one I did was I had to make a gi outfit for my character. That was very interesting because I had to use Marvelous Designer, and I never used it before. And when you try to do it on a character who's going to be doing karate moves, it's not quite designed for that. They're thinking, people going on a catwalk or something of that nature, just walking. It is not something geared towards, characters that are going to be doing extreme motion. Although I finally did get it to work. The key is you have to make sure that your cloth part doesn't cross too much, and there are certain settings. The second one was the car-based challenge, the vehicle challenge, and I had to model a car. That was a challenge. I am not a modeler. So I learned a lot doing that. Tried to do it in cinema. Ended up bringing it over to ZBrush to make it look somewhat decent because it has the good smoothing brushes and so on. This one, my idea was the David versus Goliath with fish, since I've been thinking about fish a lot. That I thought would be a very interesting one to do. What are the challenges? First of all, I have to figure out how the heck to model a fish. So first thing with this challenge is if you look at this challenge, if you decide to do it, again, I encourage it, You're going to have to think of a character, a big character and a small character. You can have multiple small characters with one clearly being the hero character. And he lays out the rules on his Discord, and you can see it here. So that's the one thing, is your characters. Not only do you have to create the characters, you also have to rig and animate them. Now, he did provide in his download file various animations that you can bring in, or if you're fortunate enough to have a mocap, you can create your own, or use, I believe, Brooke, who has a new version, a new software that does not require the suit. Now, it's not going to be as accurate, but it can get you some basic animations. It can certainly, people are certainly using it and getting it to work for them, because a mocap suit is a couple of $1,000s. So you basically have to have a justification for it. You know, if you are actually doing work and doing work where they're paying you, and where a mocap capturing animation would be beneficial to getting your work done, then you can justify a couple of $1,000s. I mean, if you're doing a project where ultimately, you know, your payday may be $10,000, let's say, and you buy a mocap and you want to use animation in your own animation, a mocap suit may be worth it, because you know you're still getting a profit, and that mocap suit isn't going anywhere. You can have it for all your, you know, use it on other jobs, so it could pay for itself in most cases. If that's not your situation, then you're probably best using their non-mocap suit version. So you need your characters, you need your animation, you need rigging, you need to rig your characters, and you need to keep them in the specs that you can see this spec that he, this example. And the action has to be within this, this item, that green circle. You want to see your boss in that circle and fill as much of it as possible. So we're talking about, he's very particular, because what's going to happen is, at the end, they're going to have thousands of entries, and they're going to have to look at them, and they need kind of a standard to judge against each other. So if people were doing, and plus they're going to do a whole reel where they're showing them all of them one right after the other. And it would be very jarring and very hard to judge if everyone's off doing their own thing and having their action at different places and so on. That's the other reason he's very strict with frame rates and size and things of that nature. Again, if you have someone going off at, you know, one frame rate, and maybe they're doing a, a one size of their screen, ultra wide or something like this, and the other's doing standard HD, for example, it's going to be very jarring and hard to compare. So they're very strict with this stuff. The other interesting thing about that is you have to have slow-mo. So how do you do slow-mo? You do slow-mo by, you record it at a higher frame rate, and then you use it at a lower frame rate. So if I can show you, let me see if I can bring this up here. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to show you. Let me show you this. He gave you a whole bunch of files. README, optional mocap. So notice here's 24 frames per second and 100 frames per second. Well, why would you want 100 frames per second? Because you would take this and then you would actually output it at 24 frames per second, and it's going to look like slow-mo. So that's why he does it this way. And here are project, let me show you what he gives you. Project files. He gives you references. So, for example, this is an example of something that would, some simple examples of what it might look like. Just to give you an idea, so you can see the boss really doesn't move, but the character, he's moving. So this is what the kind of thing that we're doing with this one. So anyway, as I said, I came up with my idea, and I'm going to see if I can do something like that and see what I can do on here. And with my idea with, now one thing he did point out, and I would urge you if you're going to do this, he has his intro video and he has his stream that he did yesterday afternoon. What I would urge you to do is watch those, because he answers a lot of questions. He talks about, the whole thing. And of course you can have, as I said, there were prizes. Just don't do it for the prizes. If you happen, given the number of entrants, I mean, like I said, your skills have to be pretty much at another level in order to actually, come in one of the top spots among 8,000 entries from all over the world, by the way. This is not a U.S.-only competition. The big prize, the Roku equipment, Roku ships worldwide. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to try to take what I learned so far doing the aquarium simulation and apply it to the extent I can. I do want to have something water-like, so what I may do is do the animation and bring it into Houdini for the water, and then take it back out to cinema. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it yet. I think that the challenge of this thing is the coming up with your characters and your idea. Doing creating new characters and rigging and animating, in particular the hero. As you notice on none of these examples, you can look at his references again. You can see the boss is not moving. And again, it can come from anything. He doesn't want to see the same thing, because if everyone's doing the same theme, it's going to get pretty boring for the judges, right? But what you're not seeing here, if you notice, what you didn't see is the boss moving. So I don't think there's a restriction of it if you keep it in the frame. Now, I also had another idea, which would be another thought if you're doing a more conventional hero and boss. I played a video game years ago, and where, God, I can't remember the name of it, where the boss had this ability to teleport, just become invisible, it's here and then he shows up somewhere else. And that made it a challenge, because you couldn't follow the boss if the boss is just moving all around. Now, it probably wouldn't work for the boss here, but maybe something with the hero. Because again, the boss has to be, you can see how these examples are. The boss is pretty much staying center screen. And in this case, the boss is so huge, but you have the hero tumbling around. And you can see all different motifs here. But this is to give people some inspiration. Anyway, this is what I'm going to be focused on for the next. It's a month-long challenge, and I urge you to do the same, to take on the challenge and up your skills. So that's pretty much all for now, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.